where you are hopping on the train, welcome, welcome, welcome. There is still a long way to go, and there is still a lot to learn. Now, the Bible, the Bible has been given to us, has been presented to us as our moral compass, as our moral guide, and we have all taken to it. I mean, it's what our grandparents studied, is what our parents studied, and it was handed down to us for us to use as our moral guide. But me, with my nosy self, with my inquisitive self, need to find out whether or not this book that was given to me to be my moral guide is really worthy. Huh? I need to find out what's going on in it, because I've only been given a few scriptures, a few chapters to say, Trev, take these chapters, take these verses, read them. And I have. And then you need to go to church, which I have. Then you need to be baptized, which I have. And you need to remain loyal to the church. You need to throw your tithes and your offering and everything else that comes with being a good, loyal, and faithful Christian. And I have, for the most part. But that does not stop me from wanting more answers. I need answers. I don't need no pastor, nobody telling me that this is in the Bible or that is in the Bible. I got two eyes and I want to see it with my own two eyes for myself. I want to read it for myself and I want to evaluate it for myself. And Winsome, what's up? Self-care, how are you doing, my love? And I get upset with people who want to tell me that when you read the Bible, you're not going to understand it unless you have an anointing. And I say to these people, be quiet. I really want to say it in an unkind way, but I want to be kind. So I say, be quiet before I tell you shut up. Because how are you going to give me a book and tell me to read this book? This is your moral compass. This is your guide. But guess what? You can't read it to understand it. Somebody who have an anointing will need to read it and understand it and explain it to you. Really? So somebody can bamboozle me? So somebody can tell me what they think it says? Because me, a daughter bird, me not understand what is in the Bible? I do not subscribe to that. You know, I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm not here for agreements. This is my journey, and I have chosen to share this journey with the world. So when we fumble, when we stumble, when we not understand something, when we're confused, when we need to seek additional information, to seek additional clarification, yes, you all will see all my stumbles and my fumbles, yeah, as I go through this journey. I'm not here to convince anybody whether or not their religion or their denomination is right or wrong, because as I do not know who is right or who is wrong, neither do you. But the difference between me and you is I am very accommodating of anyone and everyone, regardless of their religious views. You, on the other hand, get mad at people because they do not agree with what you agree with. You don't know if what you agree with is true, but you are convinced. And you're not only convinced that you are right, you are convinced that others are wrong. And there is nothing more despairing than to see people who claim to be anointed by some kind of a religious order getting all upset and cursing at other people and carrying on because people don't agree with their religious convictions. And there is no hate. There is no hate under the sun that is more pervasive than Christian love. Let me tell you something. They will destroy you because they don't believe what they believe. And that is why I say to you all, I do not endorse any particular religion or denomination. Denomination and religion has been the most divisive, religion, I tell you, has been the most divisive institution ever, ever, ever to exist. Ever. And people, I guess they behave like the people in the Bible does. I think so, because when you read the Bible is supposed to be as far as I have been taught. The Bible is supposed to be filled with a lot of inspiration and love and peace and all these things. But as I've been reading the Bible, I've seen anything but. There is a lot of hate. There is a lot of fighting, wars, bloodletting, cruelty, backbiting. Everything that I've been taught to read the Bible to help me to stay away from is what I encounter on this journey of reading the Bible. One of the things that bothers me the most is that I have been taught that there is a God that is filled with love and grace and peace and all these good attributes, all these desirable attributes. And then when I read the Bible, and I read the writings of these prophets, and these prophets talk about God, they present him as this entity that is filled with so much fury. They talk about his wrath, his fury, his anger. And it makes me stop, and it makes me pause, and it makes me ask questions. Questions, by the way, that people don't want to hear me ask. Because you see, people want to keep hiding away from any ounce of reality that is going to make them question what it is that they are following. People don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that. When I'm reading the Bible, my own mother don't want to hear me. Because she say, me not care what you say. All when me see it in the Bible, all when you show it to me, me no care. Me no business. Well, that is fine. Good morning, Sister Winnie. How are you doing, my love? Mr. Fabulous, Brilliant Minds. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Librella. Emma, bless up yourself. there are people like that who say, me not care what wanna say, what in the Bible, whatever it is, me still not let go of the Bible. May I read it, and me yes, we are reading it selectively. We are reading what we want to read, and staying away from some parts of the Bible. But is it okay to read some parts of the Bible and consider these parts to be gospel, to be important in your life, while you discard the rest? Why would you discard some of it but hold on to other parts of it? Would there be a valid reason for that? I got an answer. May not be the answer you want to hear, but it's my answer. Remember, this is my journey. I'm just inviting you to listen in on my journey. Why people don't want to use up all of the Bible? They avoid some parts of the Bible because, you see, the parts that they avoid are the parts that bring them into the reality that this whole book is questionable. They don't want to face that. They don't want to face that reality, that it is questionable. A few mornings ago, somebody challenged me and said, when I said the Bible was written by Jewish people and the Bible is a Jewish book written from a Jewish perspective, somebody sought to challenge me on that, and I and that person still cannot he cannot debunk what I have said, but he's upset that I said that. But I'd be willing to accept any debunking that the Bible is a Jewish book written from a Jewish perspective by Jewish people. But you got to come good when you try to convince me otherwise, because I'm not just talking out. I'm not talking out just an orifice of my body. Okay, you got to read the Bible for yourself, or listen to the Bible being read, and be open-minded. Be willing to accept the viewpoints of others. Be willing, when you read it, be willing with an open mind to understand what you are reading. The author of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, every single book of the Bible was written by a Jewish person. Another thing that I see people coming at me for is when I say that the Bible was not written by men inspired by God. Not Nagoso. Not Nagoso. If you want to tell me that that is so, then you will have to explain to me why these inspirations differed so much then. Because if the Bible was written by men inspired by God, wouldn't this inspiration be consistent? It would be consistent. God would always be saying the same thing to these people. So remember, the Bible wasn't written one time. This book is written over generations. Over generations. I write my experience. You, Patty, wrote your experience. The realist RT wrote his experience. Donna Smith wrote her experience. Self-Care wrote hers. Winsome wrote hers. And after a period of time, the Romans decided that these Jewish writings were valuable writings. They sift them through. And they determined which writings they were going to put in this compilation. That's what the Bible is. A compilation of various Jewish writings over different periods of the Jewish existence. That's what it is, a compilation. And that is why you find when you read the Bible, you find that some of the books have similar text. If you read the book of Ezra and you read the book of Nehemiah, you are going to find stark similarities. Why? Because Ezra and Nehemiah lived around the same time. So you will find that they both talk about King Artaxerxes because he was the king of Syria at the time when they lived. He had sent Nehemiah back to Israel to rebuild Jerusalem. So you will find that the texts are similar. We just finished reading the book of Ezekiel, and we found out that Ezekiel wasn't too far behind Jeremiah. Because remember, Jeremiah preached about Nebuchadnezzar coming up and destroying Israel and taking the people captive. Ezekiel spoke about himself being in captivity. So we see that they are not too far apart. Now we are on to the book of Daniel. I don't like to say me chat too much before me start the reading, but I have to. I gotta get you into this because, you know, even though it is my journey, I want your journey with I want your journey with me to be meaningful. You understand me? So that is why I don't just get up here and just come to talk. Ira say, what are you talking about, mama? Just listen, no, Ira. Just listen. Just listen. You hear what me talk about? Yeah. So my friends, I tell you, this is why I've taken up this task on my own to come here every morning and share this journey with the world. This journey that I'm on to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. All right. You are invited to come with me on the journey. You can come with your book Bible or your Google Bible, whichever one you have at hand. And as I read, you can follow, you can make your notes. Remember, I am no theologian. I don't come here to convince anybody that their religion is right or their religion is wrong or their belief is right or wrong. That is not why I am here. I am here on my page, going on my journey, and you all are coming along, and you are welcome to come along. All right. So this morning we're going to read Daniel chapters 3 and 4. But let me just recap what we read yesterday from Daniel chapters 1 and 2. Now, Daniel was a Jew. All right. Just remember that. I don't know what it is why people don't like to hear so the Bible is a Jewish book. How about it? I couldn't like hear it. What does it do to you? The fact that it is. Does that somehow cause some corrosion to your existence, to your religious existence? I don't know. But I'm not gonna try to find out. I just can't find my pencil. Let me look where they. I don't hold on them. I have my pencil right here, so I lay down right here, so and was writing with the pencil. I know the pencil disappear. Where it gone, Father God? The pencil disappear, gentle people. You know where it gone. I could have sworn somebody put it inside of the Bible. But me don't know if you don't like me, because me lay down on one side of the bed and the rest of the bed full of my books. My books are my reading and writing material, all kind of thing. But anyway, I them are my company. Anywho, I them are my companion. But anyway, Wait a minute, I want the light of your shine so bright. Anyway, we are going to continue with the reading. I could have seen me the pencil in the Bible, you know. And the pencil disappear. Oh, what is Father God? All right. Matters not, because me now get up go look for one next one. May I stay right here so I read just like that. All right, gentle people. So I'm gonna come with me. I'm get in a book Bible on a Google Bible. And let us read. We are on to Daniel chapters 2, chapters 3 and 4. Yesterday we saw where King Nebuchadnezzar elevated Daniel to becoming a ruler in Babylon. And why did he elevate Daniel to become a ruler? Some say from yesterday I have pencil problem. You know, say I throw in some. After yesterday I have pencil problem for true. Yesterday I say yesterday the pencil did last. And today Lord Jesus wins. So I have to call me out so bright and loud. Actually, from yesterday, the pencil, me lost the pencil. But I found the pencil and I was writing. Actually, you know, win some the pencil right on the floor. no more than me there, yes, I write last night and drop asleep. Me drop asleep on the light on the tack last night. Yeah, me kind of drop asleep. I'm sleep about 2 hours and get up. And did I write? And the pencil, apparently the pencil drop off of the bed. But anyway, we're not worried about the pencil now. We are gonna worry about the Bible where we are read right now. So as I was saying, Daniel was elevated to being a ruler in Babylon in yesterday's reading. And what gave Daniel that coveted position? Well, remember, the king had said he had a dream. And himself couldn't remember the dream. Now remember, Nebuchadnezzar had gone up into Israel and he had dismantled Jerusalem, he knocked down everything, him slay everybody, all the princes and everybody who was important, he slayed them. But according to Daniel 1, he took all the bright minds. So the Jewish people who could understand different languages, who were scientists, who were astrologers, the smart people, he took those people with him down into Babylon because he said that these people were going to be useful. They were going to be valuable. These people were going to be able to understand the languages of the people around who spoke different languages that he didn't understand. He wanted the scientists because, remember, he want Babylon to be this great city. And so he wants people who are going to make Babylon so great that the other countries around would be envious. So he destroyed Jerusalem and took all those smart minds into Babylon. When he gathered all these people down there, he claimed say he had a dream. He claimed he had a dream. But him not remember what the dream was, and him not know what the dream mean. He asked his handyman if he could help him find somebody who could interpret the dream. Nobody could interpret the dream. He ordered his men, go slay all of them people that was say them are wise men. All of them were claims to them wise and them smart. Them not worth nothing because them can't even interpret the dream. Remember, I said the dream where him not remember, Him not remember the dream why him dream. But these people are worthless because they can't remember the dream for him and they cannot interpret the dream for him. So Daniel was a dream interpreter. So when the person came, hey Joseph, what's up? When the slaughterer came, upon the king's advice to slay all these people, Daniel told him, hold on a minute, the man, nobody in so much ears. Not in so much ears. See, not in so much ears for kill we. Give me a little bit of chance. Let me go in go talk to the king. Let me go and go talk to the king a little bit. Daniel went in and he spoke to the king. Say, King, what your problem? What is the problem? The king said, well, him dream this dream. Him not remember the dream. Put us, what's up? What you doing? Malcolm, bless up yourself. Him say him dream the dream, but him not remember the dream. And nobody cannot interpret the dream for him. Daniel said, hold your horses a little bit. Now kill me so fast. Just give me 3 days. And we will come back and tell you what the dream means. So Daniel claimed to have spoken to his God, the Jewish God, remember. Daniel claimed to have spoken to his God and claimed that his God revealed to him the dream that Nebuchadnezzar dreamt and the meaning of the dream. The part I want you to remember is that Nebuchadnezzar said he forgot the dream. All right. So after those days, now Daniel came back and Daniel told him the dream that he, Nebuchadnezzar, had dreamt and the meaning of the dream. I want you to listen closely, and listen to the Cambadoozle's nest. I want you to listen closely. Joseph, I dream a dream. And I tell you, Joe, that I have forgotten the dream. I remember the dream. I want you to remember the dream for me. And if you don't remember the dream for me, I go slay you because I have power and authority like that. So I go send somebody to come put a sword in your 5th rib and slay you. And then you say, hold on there. No, but I slay me so quick. I'm going to talk to Trev a little bit. Trev, your dream? Yeah. You remember the dream? No. All right, give me 3 days. I'll come back and tell you the dream where you dream. And I go tell you the meaning of the dream where you dream. And I say, all right, Joe, that's okay. And Joe come back 3 days later and say, Trev, you say, your dream say, you're gonna get some money and you're gonna buy 2 more pieces of property. And you understand, you're gonna get rich and you're gonna win the lottery. And everybody are gonna bow down to you and all these things. I'm gonna say, yes, Joseph. You see, like, oh, that sounds so good to me. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, Joseph. You is now the governor. You is now the governor, Joseph, of my town. You is now the governor of my town. Because nobody else could dream that they dream. Nobody else couldn't interpret that they. Remember, somebody forget about the dream. Me forget. Ay, Jesus, help me so much. I had forgotten the dream that I had dreamt. And now when you come and present this to me that seems so. And when you come now and you tell me this dream that I had forgotten, all of a sudden, I go bow down to you and worship you and say, thank you very much. Let me ask you something. Do you all think if Daniel what's that them heartbeat Overton, good morning, bless up your nice clean self, Overton. Do you all think that if Daniel had said to Nebuchadnezzar, I dream that the dream you had is that you are going to die in 2 days. The people are going to rise up against you. They are going to stick their swords in your 5th rib. You don't think that Nebuchadnezzar would praise Daniel? Daniel beat him at his own game. Daniel beat him at his own game. You understand? You all believe, say, some God revealed to Daniel what Nebuchadnezzar had dreamt? Well, you can believe it if you don't want. There is no way. There is no way me would have believed that. Daniel was a very smart man. That's what the Bible already established. That Daniel was a smart man. So Daniel told him what he wanted to hear. Daniel knew that this man was cruel to his heart. This man didn't have any problems, just slaying a whole community of people. So Daniel knew that if he did not tell Nebuchadnezzar something that was favorable, he would face the wrath of Nebuchadnezzar. So that's why Daniel told him how these little powers are going to rise up and how he's going to be victorious over them. Of course, yes. What else would you do? Joseph, Winsome, and everybody else in the chat, want to talk to me. If you were Daniel, what else would you do? You have to tell him something favorable so as to spare your own life and the lives of your people. So that's exactly what Daniel did. Because number one, if Nebuchadnezzar had forgotten the dream as he said he had forgotten the dream, he would not have remembered the dream when Daniel told him. Because he said forget. So as soon as Daniel told him something that was favorable, he suddenly remember, say yes, and that in the dream say. Not no go so. Not no go so. But Daniel was smart and wise. That's why Daniel told him something favorable, so that he wouldn't slay them. And the Bible say, after that, him bow down and worship Daniel and tell Daniel how his God is a good God. Of course, yes. All right. We are going to continue reading because remember now, at the end of the reading yesterday, Daniel, who was now canonized by King Nebuchadnezzar, is now a ruler in the country in which he was captive. And he requested that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be his right-hand men. All right, so make we continue. Chapter 3 of the book of Daniel. Chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and breadth was 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces. I not even know the word sheriff in the Bible. I didn't know that. When me tell you, so everything in this life that we know as a biblical foundation, I don't believe me, but that's true. I never did know the word sheriff in the Bible, but see it yourself. Big and bold in Daniel chapter 3. All right. The counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, and captains, and judges, and treasurers, and counselors, and the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image. Then an herald cried, aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, he fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And whose falleth not down and worships and worships shall the same hoot. What the world is this? What are they? And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Bless up yourself, T. How you doing? Welcome into the live. Thank you so much for coming. I sincerely appreciate you all. All right. So let me translate chapter 3, verse 6. Verse 5 and 6. So Nebuchadnezzar built this golden image. Then he made a declaration. And in the declaration, he says, everybody needs to come, gather around, and worship this image. And anybody who do not fall down and worship at the hour that he says you should, then you shall be thrown into a furnace of fire. Now, what we want to keep in mind, is that these rulers, their rule, their authority is cloaked in fear. You have to be afraid of something. And it's not something little bit where you have mild fear. It's something serious because it is always death. For the simplest offense, your reward is always death. And the people that want dead, it's not like them give a fine and say, all right, pay $2 and you go about your business. It's death. The simplest of things. Now here, remember saying no, Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 2 just bow down and praise Daniel and said Daniel's God, who told Daniel what the dream was, supposedly, is a great God. But here now Nebuchadnezzar build an image in chapter 3. Most things in the Bible in courthouse today are the government and in government rules. Exactly. Government rules and courthouse, all of them have biblical basis. You are so right, Sister Winsome. So here now, Nebuchadnezzar, who just bow down to Daniel and claim that Daniel's God must be a good God to reveal the dream to Daniel. Here come now in build up. He has built a golden statue. And now he might go burn up people who are not willing to bow down to this golden statue. But I thought just now he was happy that Daniel's God was able to reveal this good news dream to him. You see why the math ain't mathing? Because in that case, in should have been glad said Daniel's God exists because him just revealed to him. Jordan, what's up? How are you doing, my love? Mr. Jordan, me miss your live last night, sleep with a bus me shut. Me miss your live last time. I forgot to go back over YouTube, go watch it. But let me tell you something. Why I say the math ain't mathing. Because, look at this. Joseph, if you and I just had the experience that Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar just had, wouldn't it be beneficial to me if I were Nebuchadnezzar to continue? I'm going to reach 1.2. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, my love. Wonderful. Congrats, my love. Yes, guys. So Wouldn't it be beneficial to Nebuchadnezzar to continue to worship this God that Daniel is worshiping because of the benefits that he has just had from this worship? Wouldn't it be? But no, as I'm telling you, say, Nebuchadnezzar was never to be trusted. So Daniel beat him at his own game. All right? And you see how that come out to be true now. Now him put up this golden statue. And him said the people they must come worship the golden statue. And if they don't come to worship the golden statue, it's straight up death for them. All right, let us continue. He said they shall be thrown into a burning fiery furnace. Verse 7, therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, now these are the musical instruments, they heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, and all kinds of music. All the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image. Why you think that the people them fall down and worship? Afraid, you know. Them no worship, them bow down and hurry up and worship this image because they believe in this image. They bow down and worshipped it out of fear of death from their king, Nebuchadnezzar. Hold on. Let us continue. And all the people, the nations and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Watch them, I come now. I come caress the king now. O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, and the dulcinea, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whosoever does not fall down and worship, he shall be cast into the midst of the fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, namely Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, they have disregarded you. They are not serving your God, and they are not worshiping your golden image that you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, I am on to verse 13 now of chapter 3. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought the three men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said unto the men, Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do ye not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the hornet, and the flute, and the harp, and the sackbut, and the psaltery, and the dulcinea, and all kinds of music, he fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if he worship not, he shall be cast that same time. You shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image which you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury. When some say when you stand before the idol, you worship, before the image, you worship idol. Let us continue. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, remember, say, when he appointed Daniel, to be ruler, Daniel chose his right hand men to be Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, his friends. So now the king thought favorably of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego because now he was thinking favorably of Daniel. And since they were Daniel's friends and Daniel had appointed them to be his close confidants in his new position in Babylon, then the king respected them. But now, here in chapter 3 of Daniel and verse 19, it said, the king's visage changed towards them. That means he not like them no more. That's all that is saying. He not like them no more. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was heated. Them to heat up the furnace 7 times hotter than it was before. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind the 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the fiery furnace. Bullpuss! Bless up yourself, Bullpuss. Good morning. Judine, Angie, everybody else in the chat, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Bullpuss, me like your name. That sounds like one Jamaican nickname. No, Jamaicans always have nickname for everybody. Chin Chin, I see you again, my love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. There are some names that I see here today that I see all the time. And I want to say I thank you all so much for popping in, for stopping by. If it's even look and run, I thank you. But let us continue. So now Nebuchadnezzar ordered his men to tie up these 3 men and throw them in the furnace that he has ordered the men to make 7 times hotter than it usually is. I mean, no matter how hot the fire is, you're going to burn, you're going to burn. Then these men were bounded in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace was exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, so you hear that? So the men, remember them tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, them tie them up. Maybe like a rotisserie chicken. Then tie them up to throw them in the fire. And the fire was so hot that the men who got close to throw these 3 grown men into the fire scorched them to death. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spoke, and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? And the men answered and said, Yes, sir, we did. He answered and said, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no heart. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Now, remember say at this time, Jesus not come yet, Yeah. So how Nebuchadnezzar determined that this was like the Son of God? Remember, say Nebuchadnezzar wasn't worshiping like the Jews. Nebuchadnezzar was not a Jew. He was not living by the Jewish laws or the Jewish creed. So what is he talking about? The Son of God. What is he talking about? The Son of God. Wanna talk to me, people? Wanna talk to me? Wanna talk to me? What Nebuchadnezzar know about the Son of God, talking about the Son of God, for Jesus never come yet. Let me make note of this. Give me a second here, so. All right. Okay. That right there, sir, is another of my questions. Let us continue. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spoke and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was even a hair of their head singed, neither was their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, and they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. When some say, Trev, these things happen now, Which one are the things? Which one are the things? Say, me try in one fire now go burn. Which one are the things you talk? Talk to me. Verse 29. Therefore, he said, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut into pieces, and their houses shall be made into a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver like this. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. That is the end of the reading of Daniel chapter 3. One nice story, not true? Yeah, man. One nice little story. Nice good story to prove a point. Not true? Yeah. Because you see, as we have been reading this Bible, we see where the desperation to prove their point was the whole society was rift with desperation to prove one's point. When Jeremiah said, God told him that he was going to use Nebuchadnezzar to destroy Jerusalem and to slay all the people, all the Jewish people, because they had disobeyed him, Jeremiah wanted to prove his point. Jeremiah was desperate to be taken seriously. So what did Jeremiah do? Jeremiah conspired with Nebuchadnezzar to come up and destroy Jerusalem so that his point could be proven. Now, God never tell Jeremiah nothing. No, God not tell Jeremiah nothing. Jeremiah insisted, because he was, the people them running out of the church, they had nothing to do with him, because all he preached was death and destruction. God never tell Jeremiah nothing good about the Jews. Only that him go slay them, him go slay them, go kill them. Them for go on down Babylon, go worship the gods of Nebuchadnezzar, go down there and plant them garden and breed up and have all these children down there and all these things. But God never tell Jeremiah nothing good. And that is why the people had banned him from coming into their church and into their temple. I didn't want to hear nothing at all from him. So when Nebuchadnezzar, when that Jeremiah want to make sure that them can't just discard him like that. Them can't just discard me like that. Watch me, I go show no. I go make myself valid. I go prove my point to you. So what he did, he conspired with Nebuchadnezzar to destroy Israel so that they would say, oh yes, he was a great prophet. He wasn't no great prophet. Was no great prophet. And if you ask me why I have come to that conclusion, I will tell you again. I came to that conclusion because after Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Israel and slay all the people he wanted to slay and took all the people he wanted to take captive, he left Jeremiah in Jerusalem. And he appointed a Babylonian king in Jerusalem. And what was his instruction to the governor Gedaliah? He said, give Jeremiah everything that he wants and anything that he wants, any land, any money, anything that Jeremiah wants, give it to him and protect Jeremiah at all costs. And he gave Jeremiah lots of gifts. Jeremiah, Nebuchadnezzar not give away nothing for nothing. Why would Nebuchadnezzar give Jeremiah gifts? Think about it. Think about it. If you're not give Nebuchadnezzar something, he'll not give you nothing. And what Jeremiah gave him, what Jeremiah gave to him was the blood of the Jewish people. That's what Jeremiah gave to him. Because Jeremiah told the people, even the ones who had moved away, Jeremiah tell them, so God said they must come back to Jerusalem, come set up their thrones. And the people them come back. Why did he call them back? So that there would be more victory to Nebuchadnezzar. He wants to show off to Nebuchadnezzar how powerful he can be and how useful he can be to him. So him tell the people, God said them to come back, come set up them throne and build Israel and make it be as prosperous as it was before in the day of David. And the people them come back and set up their thrones around Jerusalem with this in mind, that they are going to rebuild their city. And all they were sitting ducks for Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar come up and destroyed them. And then him give Jeremiah a whole heap of present. He said, thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you so much for your efforts. Thank you so much for helping me. I don't have to go search for the Jewish people them far and wide. You were very helpful in bringing them right here for me so I can slay them. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. When we read, we have to read with context. When we read, we have to read with context, and grabbing the Bible and reading one verse here, one verse there is never helpful. That's somebody name that was somebody when name is Zafarali. I beg you to stop from sending requests now, please. Thank you very much. You wanna send me 20 requests in as many minutes? Come on, back up. Catch yourself. Winsome said that's why people feel know God for themselves and stop make people tell them things. That is so true. People must read the Bible for themselves. If the Bible is your guide, read it. If the Bible is your guide, read it. Okay? That's what me say. All right. We are going to move on now to Daniel chapter 4. Come along with me on this rugged journey that I am on. All righty, let's move on. Daniel chapter 4. All right, so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego already been thrown in the fire. And the fire no burn them ear no singe. Them ear no singe. And now them come out of the fire, and Nebuchadnezzar has made them into rulers in Babylon. But my question is, what did happen to Daniel? Remember, say him did appoint Daniel as governor, you know. Remember, say it was Daniel. Remember, it was Daniel who took Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego as his right-hand men because they were his friends, his fellow Jews. So, how comes only Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Is it because of only them? The Chaldeans had said didn't bow down. Did Daniel bow down? Did Daniel bow down? Did the other Jewish people around bow down to the golden image? That is my question. But make we continue reading. Man want me say yes, actually win some. Them want talk, but me say, and then when them come, them want to come. When them come win some, them want to try to come tell me when me supposed to think about when me read. As though I am not capable of reading and understanding for myself. And they who have not read the Bible themselves want to convince me that what they think or what they believe is superior to what I think. And I'm not nobody about one anything. And I am not claiming that my thoughts are superior to anybody else's. But what they will not do, Sister Winsome, what I'm not going to allow them to do is to invalidate my thoughts about what I read. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. That's what they're not going to do, Sister Winsome. Because, you know, Christian people, them love to run up in a me, and run down in a me throat and try to tell me, oh, me a atheist and me a go hell and sitting. When so much you know, me tell them, I know already they are hell. Don't text me and don't text me no foolishness. I will come, we no scare tactics come tell me about, yeah, blaspheme and you go hell and you go this. I read the Bible. So if any blaspheme, I want in the Bible me I read. And if me I go dead and go hell, because I want me reading the Bible. So we tell them no back up. Don't step to me with this kind of nonsense. When you read the Bible for yourself and you have your understanding of it and me have mine, and we can have a coming together of the minds, we can have a reasonable conversation, then I will have a conversation with you. But anytime you open your conversation with your condemnation of what me I read in the Bible, you understand me, Sister Winston? Me just tell them back out. Back up and back out. Because we not have no conversation. Because me in them one verse reading people here. You them read one verse of the Bible. One verse here, so one verse there, so. And then they get no context out of what them read. And then them ready to come condemn and convert you. Me no ram so. Winsome Joseph say hello. Joseph, the over the other side of town, himself tell you good morning. It's a blessed Wednesday morning to you, Sister Winsome. So anyway, beautiful people, we're going to move right along and we are on to the book of Daniel. For those of you who are just joining me, we are on to the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar the king, unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, that dwell in all the earth, that dwell in all the earth. All right. Peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God hath wrought towards me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore, made therefore I made a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. But here you know, you said the dream make you afraid. That Nebuchadnezzar, you see? Him said the dream make him afraid now. But remember, he said he never remember the dream. All right, make we continue. Joseph say, you know how long me not see Joe in the chat? Tell him I was asking for. Yeah, me did tell him my dear, I said did I ask for him. The thing is that because me not do so much live on the tube again win some. Yeah, me just do enough. But just do enough to maintain my 4,000 watch hours and something. Because me no know what the tube are going with. You understand? You understand? Them still demonetize me. So me not kill up myself go over there. I get million view and all these things. And I get not even 2 cents. So so me just do just enough to maintain my credentials over there. That's all. But over here, yeah, so that's why me the right over here. So yeah, and over here, so me and Joseph over here, so Palam and Gallivant all day long. Right, Samuel? Bless up yourself, Horace, Dita, Christy, Valvin, and everybody else in the chat. Bless up on yourself. All right, so we'll continue reading. So Nebuchadnezzar said in chapter 4, verse 5, I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore I made a decree to bring all the wise men into Babylon, all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation. Hold on the people, hold on there. Him say him tell the dream to the people them, but them couldn't interpret the dream. And when him did do that, hold on. Let me take a little time here. Hold on. In chapter 2, in chapter 2, in chapter 2, he said in verse 7. Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that he would gain the time, because he see the thing is gone from me. Want to not hear this? The Nebuchadnezzar, I see. The Nebuchadnezzar, I see. Are really something else now, people. The money are really something else. In chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. People are telling us to follow me in the Bible, you know. Because I not theologian, I never always remember which verse to tell you, say, run go and go look in a King, in a King's, 2 Kings chapter this or so. I never always remember that. If I was a more diligent studier of the Bible, and I come here to preach and convince you, then would I try to do that. But right now, me I invite you on a journey with me. So while me I read, on can follow along. Because me can go back and remember the things that are, more short-term memory than the long one them way back so. Yeah, call me say I have Alzheimer's, but as the thing said. Tell Winsome, wherever the queen go, that's where she will find. Me just love you, Joseph. I just love you. I just love you. I just love you, my Jojo. You hear that, Winsome? Joseph said, wherever the queen go, there you will find him. But guys, wanna listen to this. Nebuchadnezzar, in Daniel chapter 2 and verse 7, the people them say, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show him the interpretation of it. Rowan, yeah, listen. Good as, yeah, listen. All right. But if he will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one. Verse 8. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that he would gain the time, because he see the thing is gone from me. Him say him forget the dream. Right? That's what I know. Him say forget the dream. How comes over here so now in chapter 4? In chapter 4, him say, verse 6, verse 5, he says, I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. Therefore, I made a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Hey, hey! Oh, ho! Oh, ho, ho! Oh, ho! Now, honestly say, me not too fool, you know. Me not too fool, you know. I remember me say, why not a dream make Nebuchadnezzar forget a dream? What was in the dream why he forgot the dream? When I'm saying forget the dream, he never did forget nothing. He never did forget nothing. Because here now him say, in the dream troubled him. The dream made him afraid. And that is why when me tell you say, anyhow, Daniel had told him something about the dream that was not favorable. If it was something that was going to make him afraid again, he was going to slay Daniel. But Daniel beat him at his own game. Daniel beat him. Me tell you now, Me tell you now, have to read this Bible and read them story here, to understand. For those of you who just come, watch me, I tell you now. Nebuchadnezzar have the people them round him look a finger. Him say him dream and him no remember the dream. All right, the people them say, tell me the dream, make we interpret it for you. Him say him no remember the dream. But he might call all the wise men to come and see if any of them can tell him what him the dream say and interpret it for him. Nobody could. Oh, you're gonna tell me when me dream? That is not humanly possible. So now, when the people couldn't tell him what he had dreamt, he ordered the people them to be killed. Let me tell you, say I have read, what kind of language that, Trev? I have read hundreds, if not thousands of books in my lifetime. And a book never sweet like the Bible, so because a book never full of tricks. You know, when we read some book like some Agatha Christie book, we have like the twist and the turns. We have like the twist and the turns. I say, oh, when I think the story is gonna go one way and then boop, Agatha Christie twist it for me so and turn it so. I have to say, oh wow, all right, all right. I have learned not to believe the first presentation of truth in Agatha Christie books. The same way with the Bible. He was lying from the beginning. You see why people exactly Joseph, the man wicked and lie like what? The man wicked and lie like what? The man forget his dream. And then the man tell the people them say they must come. When some think we didn't know them. Mister, so them story are too nice. Them story are too nice. You got to think, man, when you read this book here. Now Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 4 is going to say the dream that he dreamt was troubling to him. He was afraid of the dream. Whatever it was in that dream, it made him afraid. So that's why he declared that everybody must come interpret the dream, and if them can't interpret the dream, he might go slay them. Verse 7, then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldees, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation. You are a liar. You did not tell them the dream. You told them that you had forgotten the dream. What a wicked man. But let me continue. Verse 8. But at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom in the spirit of the holy gods, and before him I told the dream, saying. After never did say him tell Daniel the dream. But anyway, let us continue. I said to him, exactly, Sister Winsome. Nebuchadnezzar is like Popeye. Let us continue. He said, but at the last, Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom in the spirit of the holy gods, and before him I told the dream, saying, O Belshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and no secret troubleth thee, tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. As I'm saying, they said to Daniel, thus were the visions of my head in my bed. I saw and behold a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height of the tree was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof were plenty, and in it was meat for all. The beast of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heavens dwelt in the boughs of the tree, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and an holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said this: hew down the tree. That means chop down the tree. In the Bible, when you see the word HEW, it means chop down. Hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the ground, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. Hold on there. Verse 15 again. Nevertheless, leave the stump of the tree in the ground, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him. Why they say they sound so confusing? Them a talk about one tree, but them a personify the tree, but then it turned to the heart of the tree. Eh? Hold on, let me read this today again. Verse 14, he said, he cried aloud, and him said, chop down the tree, cut off the branches, shake off the leaves, scatter the fruits, so the beasts cannot come under it anymore, and the fowls of the heaven cannot go in the branches of it anymore. Leave the stump of it with the roots in the ground, with a band of iron and brass, with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. All right. Make it stay out less than the grass, just like the grass or what the animal they might eat. All right, understand that. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him. Him who? The tree never had a man's heart. That's what it means. Let his heart be changed from a man's heart to a beast's heart. And let 7 times pass over him. And what that means, some? Well, I make me mark here, so because I don't have a clue. Right there, so that them lost me a little bit right there, so. I'm a little bit lost. So when me lost, me write the word lost right there. So, because right there, so they kind of lost me. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomever he will, and sitteth up over it the basest of men. Oh, what kind of word them, yeah? What kind of word them, yeah? This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and gives it to and set it up over it the basest of men. If I was never lost before, right now, you can't go find me. I'm gonna have to read that again later on and figure out what in the world that is saying. Verse 18, he says, This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belshazzar, now this is Daniel talking to, O Belshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof, for as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. All right, let me see if Daniel are going to interpret it. Let me see if Daniel is going to give an interpretation that is going to take me out of my the lost woods that I'm in. I'm lost in the woods right now. Let me see if Daniel's interpretation is going to be of any help. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spoke and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. Joseph, front, come give you a little love. Little love, Sister Winsome. So, okay. So here now, Daniel is telling Nebuchadnezzar that the interpretation of the dream is talking about his enemies. The tree that you saw, which grew and was strong, whose height reached into the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof was plenty, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwell, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven made their habitation. It is you, O king, that are grown and become strong. Mr. Daniel here, you see? That Daniel here, just a caress Nebuchadnezzar ego so. So now Daniel says that dream that Nebuchadnezzar saw of that big tree, the tree represents him, Nebuchadnezzar. He must stretch out. Remember, that's what Nebuchadnezzar wanted, Nebuchadnezzar wanted he wanted to conquer all the other little countries around him. He wanted so much power. He was envious. He was envious about the historic readings that he had read about David, and how David was powerful on all these places around that David owned for Israel. And he envied that. He wanted to be mighty and powerful. That's why he was going around and slaying the kings of all the little countries around him and conquering their countries so that he could grow his dynasty. That was Nebuchadnezzar's intention. So now, here is David really caressing his ego. So David tell him, that tree where your dream see is you, O king. That is you that are grown and you have become strong. Your greatness is grown and reacheth even up to the heaven, and you have dominion to all the ends of the earth. And that Nebuchadnezzar want hear. And whereas the king saw the watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven and saying, cut the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots in the ground, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. So, yes, Winsome. Yes, Winsome. I like how you're following the reading. Yes, sister. So when Daniel was taken into captivity into Babylon, um, Nebuchadnezzar renamed Daniel Belshazzar. Yes, after a Babylonian god. He named several of the people, a lot of the people who were anybody, like the people who were wise and educated. He renamed them after Babylonian gods. So Daniel wasn't the only one he renamed. So here now I get some clarification for the confusion I had in chapter 16 and 17 when he started talking about the changing of the heart from a man's heart into an animal's heart. It was talking about Nebuchadnezzar. Because down here in verse 23, it says, and whereas the king saw a watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven and saying, cut down the tree and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots in the ground, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let its portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, that this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord, the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as the oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven. And 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. So this are Daniel's interpretation of this dream that Nebuchadnezzar dreams to this big everlasting tree that stretched from heaven to all over the ends of the earth. And the tree was so big. The tree had whole heap of fruit, whole heap of branches, the trunk was big and strong. The tree, whole heap of birds lived in the tree. All of the animals then went underneath the tree to go get shade. The tree had meat and fruits and everything. You know, the leaves for meat, the lot of fruits. Seems like this tree could have feed the whole world. And then the tree get cut down, and it had brass and iron and brass thing on it was put on it, and the heart of the tree was the tree now being personified as a man, and the heart taken out, not literally but figuratively, and replaced with the heart of an animal. That means you're not thinking human terms anymore. You don't think about humanity and caring for humans. You think like an animal, like a lion. You want to eat, you don't have no emotions. You just eat. You just kill. You don't have, yeah, no reservations when it comes to being destructive. So this now is what Daniel is interpreting as it going to be Nebuchadnezzar. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. After that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thine iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the king of Babylon. The king spoke and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty? While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven saying, There fell a voice from heaven saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee, and they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from among men, and he did eat grass like the cows, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. So he went from mighty and powerful to being homeless, living out in the field, eating grass like the cows. His hair grew long, unkept, shaggy, and looked like feathers. His nails grew so long, them look like claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand, or say unto him, What is it you are doing? What doest thou? At the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, Praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride, he is able to abase. Here ends the reading. Here ends the reading of Daniel chapter 4. Now in this Daniel chapter 4 here, so him get me stumped. He got me stumped a little bit because I couldn't understand how how the transition of the story went from us talking about Nebuchadnezzar to a tree, and then the tree referring to Nebuchadnezzar. But they redeemed themselves, people. They redeemed themselves down in chapter 4 and verse 20 and forward and onwards. They redeemed themselves. So we now know that the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had dreamt of this great tree that was stretching from heaven all the way down, all the way from earth, all the way up to heaven, and spreading over this entire world, that represented Nebuchadnezzar. But the thing is, Nebuchadnezzar wasn't in control of the whole world. But I tell you that that was his plan. He wanted to create this great dynasty, that he was so mighty and so powerful. And that was why he started to conquer the smaller countries around him in order to grow his wealth, his influence, and his power. And in that dream, according to what Belshazzar, aka Daniel, interpreted for him, he said that tree represented him. And the spreading of the tree represented his strength, his might, and his power. And the cutting down of the tree represented his fall from grace. And he went on to say, he is going to be transformed from human to an animal. He's going to end up out in the field, eating the grass, just like the cows, just like the other animals. He might be out there. He might go basically turn from human to animal, because he might have the heart of an animal. So eating grass is gonna be like second nature to him. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm no longer a human. I don't have a human heart anymore. I'm just gonna eat grass, go under tree, go shelter, live just like the animal them. No beard, no nothing. Just like how what animal live, I'd show him I go live. If somebody no pay attention to something that's wrong with you, it I go stay unattended to. So that's why fingernail them end up growing like hawk. Because as humans, we cut our fingernails, but when him out there live like animal, no fingernail no cut, no ear no trim, no ear no comb, no bearding, no lotioning, nothing. So I'm out there living just like an animal. That was his reward. Then at the end, him same claims to now him a worship the God of heaven, the God who him believe now is the true and living God. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. More questions than answers when it comes to the Bible. All Winston say all dog paw get cut. I chew win some. Dog paw get cut, me I tell you. Yeah. People carry them dog or get them dog shave and get them dog groomed and all these things. And Nebuchadnezzar not getting at them treatment then. Nebuchadnezzar was allowed to go out in the field. But lay down, make the dew fall upon him, just like how the dew fall upon the cow and the donkey and the ass them. Make him go out there, make the dew drop on him and make it make the dew go fall upon him and he hair unkept, the ear grow long, his fingernail them grow long, and all these things make him look just like one animal. Oh my word. But anyway, guys, yeah, we have come to the end of another reading. Another reading, Michael, Jojo, what's up? Trinibon? Yeah, we have come to the end of another reading of the Bible, where we just read Daniel chapters 4 and 5. Okay, I appreciate you all who have come on this journey with me. I sincerely appreciate you all because this journey is really journeying. There's a lot to unpack. There is a lot going on here. Yes, with some, me I go work tonight. With some say me I go read tomorrow. Me I go work tonight. When I come off of work tomorrow. Stuff. When I come off of work tomorrow, it's going to be like 7:30 or so. Me and me I go able to read. It all depends. If I feel tired, I'm not going to because the worst thing to do is to read when I'm tired. Yeah. But tomorrow, I might just end up, I might just end up starting to read another novel. Me never did read the other day. Cause me did read this book. Me never did want to read it online. So I was reading it in the background. That's why I couldn't start reading another novel for y'all. Yeah, but I'm going to start reading. I might start reading another novel. But I have just like 10 pages of the book to finish reading today. So me I go finish read it today and then maybe tomorrow me start reading one different book that me can share. We don't know. Yeah, when we leave work, when I leave work, I do the live on my way home, but I don't do the live on talk at that time because you know me I drive. Me can't have two devices in front of me. The one on the tube, me can't always hide the camera and stuff. Yeah, but me not gonna do that. When me I drive, me have to drive safely. I don't want no accident. So me have to wait until when me reach home. When me reach home, then me might do an hour. It all depends on what time I get home. All right. But when some remember somebody make one page and say me I go do a talk live every day. Me no I haven't been consistent since the year start, but it's still early. Yeah, for me continue for the me talk live every day. But anyway, enough of me and me chattering. Okay. That's where we're gonna end this morning, guys. When we come back tomorrow morning, yeah, we will see how much we can accomplish. Maybe tomorrow morning we read one, we read just chapter 5 tomorrow. Chapter 5 is the mini TKL up first. So remember that? All right. So tomorrow we might just read chapter 5 and call it a night, call it a day. Okay. So that's where we're gonna end this morning, guys. Thank you all so much again for coming. I sincerely appreciate you. Let me know, go get my act together for the day, and I will see you all later. All right, guys. So bless upon yourself and have yourselves a great day. Until next time, my friends. This is straight from Trebessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a great day, guys. See you later, Winsome. Yeah. Wow. 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 I have.
Want to connect more with your viewers? Here's some tips that should hopefully help you. Don't just say thank you to everyone. Say their name and what it is that you're thanking them for. If you've got somebody called Ellie who comes into your life every day and gives you roses, thank you, Ellie, for coming into my life every day. Secondly, celebrate the day that your viewers subscribed to your live. If you've got one of your viewers called Dave who has been subscribed to you for 1 year now, you could say, it's been 1 year since you joined my community. Thank you, Dave. Thirdly, and I really like this one, create a nickname for your viewers and see if they like it. Find your common interests with your viewers. You should really know your viewers like you know your friends. So learn as much about your viewers as you can. You've got this. Want to connect more with your viewers? Here's some tips that should hopefully help you. Don't just say thank you to everyone. Say their name and what it is that you're thanking them for. If you've got somebody called Ellie who comes into your life every day and gives you roses, thank you, Ellie, for coming into my life every day. Secondly, celebrate the day that your viewers